I can imagine rolling. Why is it so hard to imagine having legs? Mostly because they bend. You can curl up and roll. I've done legs, and since I'm too slow, the only way I can move is if my feet are big squares and I don't take them off the ground. Legs are just a matter of balance, though, and you roll. You've got incredible control the way you make your way around the ship. You can stop on a dime. What's a dime? Stefan paused for a moment before going, "Fuck." "Oh, that was an idiom, wasn't it?" Zurk asked, a smirk in their tone. "Don't tell Tina." Stefan walked, and Zurk rolled down the street towards their destination. Zurk had been filled in about the area a few days prior. They were planet-side, but the city only allowed specific transports, so it was all pedestrians around them. If you brought something big, you needed to push or pull it yourself, or hire it out if it was too heavy. Apparently, no one knew whether the city had become so off-roader friendly because of the lack of vehicles, or whether they'd phased out vehicles as the city started to revolve around sales and tourism. While the rest of the crew had gotten their shopping done the previous day, the part they needed for the ship's computer hadn't come in until today. That allowed Pickler, the Minican medical officer on the ship, to very happily spend another morning at the market, buying so much fresh fruit that they had to put it in stasis. And currently, the Niltonian that worked managing their customers, Molio, and their captain, Tina, were both taking the day to catch up on work. "How long have you known this guy?" Zurk asked. "We've been coming here for parts on and off for the past year," Stefan replied. "Just depends where he's closest. Honestly, I like it because Dan's Donuts is nearby." He patted his shoulder bag, which held the purchase he'd just made. Zurk snorted. Or rather, they made a sound that Stefan had learned was the equivalent of a snort. "You only brought 3, why not buy more and put them in stasis?" "Because then I would eat them all the time, and then my job would get harder when I couldn't fit onto the console. You know how much sugar is in this stuff?" He motioned to their left, and Zurk saw the bright sign that read, "Patrick's Hardware." "Right up here." "Surprisingly, no, the nutrition content of human food is not my specialty," Zurk replied. "I'll take your word for it." "Is there an equivalent for Siliconians?" "You mean we can bulk up accidentally eating something too good?" "Nope, it's not like I get cravings. The stuff that makes up me is what I need and my body lets me know, so I just need to keep that in balance." "Ugh, you sound like those guys who go to the gym." "I only eat to fuel my body." It sounded like you were doing a different voice there. "Yeah, that's what an asshole sounds like." Stefan pulled open the door to let Zurk roll through into the large electronics store. Going up to the front desk, they waited, as there was already a customer talking to the man behind it. Patrick, Zurk assumed. The human was taller than Stefan, and his hair was longer, and also, Zurk guessed, did not enjoy Dan's Donuts as much as Stefan. He was what Zurk would describe as lanky. "How do you not have cerulean blue processor fluid? Do I look like I'm doing integer math?" "That's a bit of an exaggeration," Patrick said tiredly. "But if you need something at that level, it's not here. If you don't want to deal with the manufacturer, then you'll need to call around." The Uluti let out a long, bubbly breath before turning and heading for the exit. "Hey, there he is," Patrick said, clapping his hands together. "Oh, wow. When did you get a pet rock, Stefan?" Zook's electric loop thinned, and he didn't say anything, unsure how to proceed. The smile dropped from Stefan's face, and he stared long enough to make it awkward before speaking. "Try again." Patrick grimaced, and looked at Zook. "Sorry, a friend used it, but I didn't realize how bad it was until it came out just now." He lifted a hand in a small wave. "Good to meet you. I'm Patrick." "I'm Zurk," they replied. "You're here for this, I believe," the man said, leaning under the counter and pulling up a box. "I appreciate you waiting. Last one just got sold a week ago and the manufacturer took their time with the shipment. You didn't cut it too close, I hope. Stefan shook his head. Nah, just starting to get warnings. I wouldn't want to wear down my ship using a processor that's on its way out. Zerk was keeping it on their radar and let me know it was time to shell out for a new one. That's fantastic, Patrick said, glancing to the Siliconian. I only just read an article about your species, and honestly, you're the coolest aliens yet. It's been a steep learning curve, but my career gave me a solid enough foundation to open this store at least. Zerk's electric loop relaxed a bit at the compliment. Well, welcome to the galaxy. Thanks. He cut the tape with a small pocket knife and opened up the box, lifting out the foam covering. Picking up the manual on top, which had been written in Common Earth languages by request, he put it aside and made a gesture. There she is. Stefan took a look and picked up the box, putting it on the floor, as Patrick leaned forward. Look good? Yeah, I just want Zoe to check it out, Stefan told him. Okay if they run a current for it? Patrick nodded. Be my guest. But you for it, you buy it. Just to check the specs, Zoe told him. Same as what'll go through it on the ship. They reached out with some electricity, running it through the processor. Seriously? Can you do that with anything? Stefan spoke up, knowing Zoe couldn't speak while working with their electricity. That's how they knew it was running down, he answered. I put it through a system check and they were right. Damn, that's cool. Zerk finished and rolled back a bit from the box. Sorry, but this isn't right. What? Patrick glanced at the processor. What does that mean? It functions fine, it's well made, but the processing power isn't accurate, Zerk told him. Stefan picked the box back up, his eyes narrowing, and put it on the counter as he looked it over. Patrick picked up the manual, opening it to look at the specs. Shit. Assuming the manual's accurate, you're right. He folded the box back to look at the label. Fuck. They put the wrong thing in this box. He looked at Zerk. Hold on. Let me see how much cursing I need to do. He quickly walked around from behind the counter and down a few aisles. Finding what he was looking for, Patrick then came back, taking the folding knife from his pocket and sliding it through the tape. Pulling out the foam insert, he picked up the manual and looked inside, then let out a long breath of relief. Here, this is what you ordered. Fuck. Stefan put the box on the floor, and Zerk did the same procedure. Yep, this is it, they spoke. Fantastic. Patrick shook his head. That's ridiculous. I've got to plug in the other three now to check. I don't even trust that the manuals are all going to be accurate. If I find one more like that, I'm switching to another supplier. He clapped his hands and pointed at Zerk. 5% off my new friend here. Hey, thanks, Zerk said in surprise. Stefan replaced the manual and foam, and then took the roll of tape from the counter, closing up the box, putting it on the counter. To be fair, they were checking if you were screwing us over, he told Patrick. And the discount is because someone else would have assumed I was, and they saved my ass, Patrick told him, running the item through his computer. Stefan grinned and swiped his watch to make the payment. Alright, let me know how she runs. If there's any other reason I need to curse out this company on their Galnet review page, I'd like to know. Will do. Stefan gave him a nod goodbye, and they headed back out to the street. That's ridiculous, Zook spoke. How does a company screw up like that? If there's one thing I've learned having met the rest of the galaxy, Stefan said, is that anyone can screw up. Companies aren't magic just because they're run by aliens. That's true. Alright. We head over to Pop Shelf and then back to the ship. I'm sure the processor will run fine. Zerk continued to glance around at the myriad of pedestrians and stores. Are you going to tell me what the captain needs from that store? Oh, Tina doesn't know she needs it yet. I'm buying it for her, and for me. If I'm being honest, she's been stressed over our last job and can use a good laugh. You'll have to help me out with it. Wait, what are we doing? 2 words, my geological friend. Googly eyes.